At first, Charleston White kept it light. Well, as light as he ever does. He cracked jokes about Boosie being washed up, poked fun at his career, and tried to make it all look like regular trolling. But soon, his trolling turned personal. One commenter brought up Boosie's son, Tootie Raw, saying, "He's the one who got your son arrested. How do you feel about stuff like that?" Boosie's reaction was cautious. "Who got my son arrested?" he asked, clearly surprised. Charleston White had gone on record, bragging, and Boosie was careful to avoid making any statements that could be used against him. "I don't expletive with Charleston White. That expletive, they'll pressure. I ain't expletive with it. I'm keeping that expletive name out my mouth that day." Boosie knew the stakes. Any slip could jeopardize his freedom. The internet might think trolling is harmless, but in reality, Charleston's threats were dangerous. "That's a threat to my success," Boosie said. "Charleston's not hiding. He's going to get your ass locked up." For Boosie, this wasn't just smoke. This was real. He had seen what could happen when kids were dragged into conflicts, and he wasn't about to risk that. "That's some smoke you don't want," he warned. "I ain't trying to have no man calling no DS on me." People online often underestimate the consequences of words in the streets. Boosie emphasized that threats aren't jokes when kids or family are involved. Charleston, however, thrived on pushing buttons, looking for that soft spot that would shock the internet. And he found it. Boosie's son, Tootie Raw. "I ain't really got no opinion on that," Boosie explained. "Once you start threatening people's kids, I ain't the one to do all that. Certain people, you can't really express opinions on." Charleston boasted about trying to get Tootie locked up, treating it as a game. But Boosie didn't back down. For a while, he stayed silent, refusing to feed Charleston the immediate reaction he wanted. But as Charleston doubled down, mentioning Tootie repeatedly, Boosie had to respond. When he finally spoke on camera, Boosie's message was clear and heavy. "Don't ever come for my kids. Don't drag my family into your circus." The clip went viral instantly. Fans praised Boosie's calm, yet authoritative warning. "That's exactly how a father is supposed to handle it," they said. Some wondered if Charleston was baiting Boosie into trouble, but everyone agreed Charleston had crossed a dangerous line. The roots of this drama traced back to Kanye West. When Kanye wore a White Lives Matter shirt, the culture erupted. Boosie publicly criticized him, speaking up for Black lives. Charleston saw an opportunity to twist the narrative. Instead of supporting Boosie, Charleston mocked him for criticizing Kanye, calling him a hypocrite and trying to paint his outrage as a desperate attempt for relevance. From there, Charleston escalated, dragging Tootie Raw further into the spotlight. But Charleston didn't stop with Tootie. He targeted another rap legacy kid, King Harris, the son of T.I. He called King spoiled and fake, mocking his style and predicting jail time. King didn't stay silent. He jumped on Instagram Live, firing back and warning Charleston that real-life consequences would follow if they ever crossed paths. T.I. stepped in, making it clear that Charleston had crossed another line. "Nobody is going to play with my child's name," T.I. stated. The situation transformed from trolling into a generational clash. Fathers and sons were defending their family honor against Charleston's reckless provocations. The internet was captivated. Every viral clip added fuel to the fire. Charleston's antics drew attention, but Boosie and T.I.'s responses gave the story weight. This wasn't just entertainment. It was a test of respect, manhood, and what fathers would do when their children were disrespected. Boosie's warning hit hard because it wasn't performative. It was real, grounded in his responsibility as a father. T.I. was equally resolute, protecting King not for fame, but as a father. Their energy was palpable, contrasting with Charleston's loud, reckless persona. Charleston hid behind the idea that rappers couldn't touch him because he could always call the cops. That was his ace card, and it made him feel untouchable. But crossing the line by involving children changed the dynamics. Boosie and T.I. made it clear, this wasn't about clout. This was about family. And the sons themselves weren't passive. Tootie Raw's involvement triggered Boosie's protective stance. King Harris matched Charleston's energy head-on, daring him to continue his attacks. Charleston thrived off chaos, manipulating every moment for attention. But the stakes were higher now. This wasn't clout chasing anymore. It was a cultural and generational clash. Fathers versus a troll. Legacies versus disrespect. Kanye's stunt was the spark, but Charleston's choices fanned the flames. Every time Charleston dragged Boosie's or T.I.'s name into his content, the tension grew. The culture recognized it. Disrespecting someone's kids isn't a joke. It's personal and consequences follow. The internet debated, some arguing Charleston was merely chasing clout. Others saw the line he crossed and the danger he created. Both sons had become active participants, responding to disrespect with energy that made fans question whether they were empowering Charleston or standing up for themselves. Boosie's consistent restraint until the tipping point demonstrated a strategic approach. When he spoke, his authority as a father and man was undeniable. T.I.'s intervention reinforced the boundary. Family comes before entertainment. The respect earned from that moment was clear. Men like Boosie and T.I. don't gamble with family. Charleston's online persona is one of fearlessness. He brags about protection from law enforcement and mocks anyone who challenges him. But the reality is that when children are involved, the internet circus turns into something serious. Boosie and T.I. weren't playing games. Fans watched closely, questioning Charleston's tactics. He provoked for attention, but Boosie and T.I.'s firm responses turned the situation into a moral lesson. The stakes weren't social media trends. They were family, honor, and respect. The sons, Tootie Raw and King Harris, played a central role. King's IG Live response ignited conversation and debate. Was he smart to confront Charleston directly, or did it feed the troll? Either way, the internet couldn't look away. What started with a controversial shirt evolved into a multi-layered feud. Hip-hop beef, family loyalty, trolling, and generational clashes intertwined, creating a drama the culture couldn't ignore. Every viral clip reinforced the lesson: don't disrespect a man's family. Charleston laughed, claiming he was untouchable, but Boosie and T.I. demonstrated that boundaries exist. When you cross them, consequences follow. Their fathers-first mentality elevated the situation from internet entertainment to real-world significance. Charleston's trolling was a test of patience, pride, and honor. Boosie and T.I.'s responses reminded everyone that some lines are sacred. Respect and family come first, regardless of clout. Boosie and T.I. weren't just protecting reputations, they were defending their children. And the sons themselves stood their ground. The internet observed, debated, and learned. Some battles aren't about likes and views. They're about legacy, honor, and family. This saga is a cautionary tale. Chaos might be entertaining, but crossing lines,